Right, so you find us underneath a Mark 7 Fiesta. Today we're doing rear axle bushes. The pin's got a bit of play in it and the bush is quite deteriorated. So got to get the axle down at the front so we can get access to the bushes. You can't get this bolt out with it all up. You've got to take the mounting plate down because it hits the fuel tank. So what we've done so far, I've just cracked everything off to make sure it undoes okay, put penetrating oil on it so it undoes nicely. I've unclipped the ABS sensor wire, just slots in, and unclipped the handbrake cable just to give us a bit more give when we come down on the front. Got to be super careful with the flexi brake hose, but they do give enough for us to get it low enough. So what we'll do is drop the axle down and then we'll show you how we get the bush out. So that's one side. Just be a little bit careful when you take the last bolt out because obviously we've still got the spring in and stuff can move around. But it shouldn't go far. And then what we can do is lower the front of the axle, being careful with the handbrake cables. Make sure they're all out the way. Keeping an eye on the brake pipes. Still a bit of flex in them. So that's perfect. And then what we'll do is get the mounting plate off. So that's now out of our way. Just take note before you remove the bush, you can mark it if you want. I know that which way they go in, we've done loads of these. So the grooves in the bush are at the top and the bottom. So let's get that bush out. We'll show you how we do that. We add a bit of heat to the situation. And there's a hole in the back of the axle here. So we just warm up the bush through there. Takes a little while to get it hot enough. And what will happen is the bush will start to melt inside. And then it will almost push the bush out the hole as it's melting. Once you get it nice and hot. You just see now it's starting to melt. Be careful, it does spit a little bit. And obviously be careful with the heat and stuff of the fuel tank. That's why I like to get it as low as I can to get it away from the fuel tank. And you can see there that the bush is just, a bit of it's going to fall off. So that should be hot enough now. So we'll extinguish that. And then what you should be able to do is they'll just fall out like that because you've got it nice and hot. Makes it super easy to get them out. Obviously you can't do the same putting it back in. You've got to use a special tool, puller, to put the bush back in. So now what we've got to do is wait for that to cool down because it's quite hot, clean all this off, clean up the surface where the new bush is going in, and then we can press the new bush in. So what I'll do is I'll get all the cleaning up done. You don't need to watch me clean stuff up. And then I'll show you us putting it back in. Right. So let's get this bush back in. It's a genuine Ford one. We only fit genuine Ford ones because they're better and they're so much nicer to fit. The other ones, when you try to get them in, they pull sideways and they're just a pain. So to make life easier for all of us, we just fit genuine Ford. So we've got the correct tool for this job. So that goes on there. And then you put the new bush in. So about where it wants to be. Oh, let's get the rest of the tool. That's not meant to happen. Wind this in. You can use this tool to take them out again as well, or take them out before, but we just find it easier, like we've already shown you, to warm them up and they fire out really nice. So again, we're just making sure we're getting the bush in the right place as we tighten this up. I just put a bit of copper slip on the new bush and in the inside of the axle, just to aid it sliding in. And then just gently to start with, just start edging it in. Just making sure you need to be looking from both the side and underneath, just making sure it goes in square. Which it seems to be so far. And then once you're in a bit, once you've got 10 mil or so of it in, it can't then go anywhere. And it's just a case of winding it all the way in. Again, it's tight, but if you've cleaned it up properly, it should go in quite easy. Like you can see, I'm only using a spanner. It's not, I haven't got a big bar on it or anything like that. Or don't be pulling it in with a gun because you'll damage your tool, and it's just, it all happens too quickly and you can't tell if the bush is in square and stuff, and before you know it, you'll crack the outer casing of the bush because again, it is only plastic. So once it goes tight, you know you're there. So then we can back that one off. Like so. Hopefully this will undo by hand. The nuts come off the other end, but that's fine. So then we can take the tool out. And that's it, the new bush is in. So all you've got to do then is pop your mounting plate back on, like so. You can do this up, but don't do it completely up because you don't know which angle it needs to be tight at until it's up. So once you've got the plate bolted to the bottom of the car, then nip that one up. And then you know the bush isn't under loads of force that it doesn't need to be. So what I do is just pull it up, just so it'll stay where you want it to stay and you haven't got to hold it. But again, it's just sliding on the bolt. So once we've got this bolted to the bottom of the car, then we can nip that up. You can get a spanner on that, not a problem. And then you know there's not excess pressure on the bush because you've tightened up on the inside of it. So I've already fitted the other side. So what we'll do is just pop that one in. Catch the nut on there. And again, it's just a little bit too tight, that is. Just back that off just so it will stay there. And then what you can do carefully, I always hook the handbrake cable up out of the way. Just slowly jack it back up, making sure the handbrake cables are where they need to be. And they can be a little bit fiddly to get in, but that one's gone in pretty good. So that's it, up. Don't go mental jacking it up. That's why I've got a jack at the front as well, just to keep the weight balanced on the car. Put our 3 bolts in each side and your job done. Reconnect your handbrake cable, clip your handbrake cables in, clip your ABS sensors in. There's a bracket here for the handbrake cable as well, so put that one back on and you're all done. So that's another job finished. Obviously don't forget, like, subscribe, bell notification button. Put in the comments if you'd like us to see us do anything. I know we can't always, it's not that easy, but if there's anything you want us to show us doing, put it in the comments and we'll see what we can do. It might be something that we thought none of you would find interesting, but someone wants some advice. So if we get it in, we can film it and you'll be able to watch it. So there we go, goodbye from another one.